So thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for joining us to kick off 2020. So welcome, welcome. Let's get this party started. We've got some great information for you guys. We've got some great speakers tonight, so let's get going. So next slide, Miriam, here we go. So really though, why we're here, you guys, 1 in 3 people in the United States hear those dreaded words, you have cancer. Some of those are your loved ones, some of you guys are here in this room. And we continue to fight because we continue to change this statistic and it keeps moving in the better direction for us. So I just thank you guys for everything that you're continuing to do. A lot of you guys here know what relay is, but I'd be remiss if I kind of skipped over this next slide for me here. I already clicked this thinking I was in control, so hang in there with my clicking here tonight. But you guys, relay is the largest movement worldwide to fight against cancer. So I know it's kind of crazy to believe, but like, how relay has evolved, we've all seen things change in different communities and even evolve here in our community, but that statistic has not changed. So you guys should just feel very proud and very honored. You guys are a part of a giant team that I know you know it's beyond ourselves and beyond our community, but it's truly part of a very large picture. And I can't thank you guys enough at the local level for continuing to keep Westland and relay on the map together. So. Yes, I love it. And if you go to the next slide, you can see how things broke down. So last year, we raised over $73,650. Now give yourselves a giant round of applause. This is the second year in a row we have been a pace-setting event. So for those of you that don't know what that means, by the time we leave the park, we have raised everything we hoped to have raised. But the cool part is you guys have done that and then some. So our goals have been right around $65,000, and you guys have continued to blow that out of the water, but just all of these teams, I know I do want to take the time to read them off, but I'm going to keep us moving here a little bit, but I just wanted to take a moment. Thank you. You guys not only raise this money, but you guys create and facilitate a beyond beautiful relay experience. And that is something that I think we just need to stop and reflect on too. Countless people from my office, countless people from around the state just come and visit us and come visit our relay. I know you guys don't all get to see them. Sometimes they're just there to support me even. But everyone's first word is wow. And then the next is, what is this? Like, this is crazy. It is a very traditional relay, but it's so beautiful and it's alive and it's well, and it's so great to see you guys taking it and blowing the goals out of the water. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And the next slide though, is kind of an even crazier statistic. So I was talking to Katie about this a minute ago. We always take a second to recognize our Grand Clubs and All-Stars, but if you take a second, we just said we raised over $73,000. This group alone raises over $40,000. So let's give these groups of All-Stars and Grand Club members a giant round of applause. All-Star individuals, so you guys all have the opportunity to fundraise. Some people like to compete against individuals and like to fundraise just themselves and see how far they can go. So individuals that fundraise kind of fit in this category. I know a lot of you though do contribute your funds as a team. So there's both options. And the All-Stars, they raise $2,500 and up on their own. Katie, I think, did that 4 times over, maybe 5 times over, close. I know I don't want to toot your horn, but it's awesome. And then the Grand Club, those guys raise over $1,000 on their own. So just another round of applause. Every event has that crazy statistic of like this group raises a whole ton of money, you know what I mean, when you really divide them out as individuals, but I want to take a second to recognize you guys. So thank you for everything that you do. All right, next. And last but very, very not least, thank you guys to our sponsors last year. This alone is like over $20,000 of what we raise. I know some teams secure these sponsors. Some of you guys just sponsor the event alone, but just thank you guys. These are a lot of amazing businesses in your community. Continue to support them. Continue to thank them at least. You know what I mean? When you're in these businesses, we just truly can't do it without these guys. So just thank you, and thank you to all of you guys who help create this list too, because I know I don't do a lot of this asking. I know it's a lot of you guys, so thank you guys. Let's give our sponsors a big round of applause. All right, next up. So I wanted to point out really quick, I talked about the Grand Club and that all-star group. I just wanted to blow up kind of the shirts a little bit for you guys. So this is what we've got going on for 2020 for those of you that get your competitiveness on. We've got our Grand Club. It's like a quarter zip, so it's the one on the left, and then the all-star, it's a full zip fleece. So pretty cool. I liked that teal, but yeah, pretty cool. Just wanted to share those with you guys. And then if you go to the next slide, this is what we're looking at for our 2020 t-shirts. So for you guys as participants, so the Hope Club is the first one, the purple one is the survivors, the navy one is team captains, and then the heathered coral is our lovely committee. I didn't make the shirts, but as you can see, their color swatching is a little off. This is heathered coral. So survivors will be purple, but I've been kind of chuckling at our vendors' color swatching because there's nothing heathered about this. It's very neon. So I'm hoping everything doesn't come neon. I think the blue is a little more in that gray family. But this is what we got going on for you guys this year. Just as a refresher, everyone that raises $100 gets that Hope Club t-shirt, so we've still got that going on for you guys. I also do that on a team average, so I just like to keep things simple. So if you've got $1,000 online, you've got 10 people on, 10 individuals and $1,000 online, there's 10 shirts. So it just doesn't exceed the amount of people on your team. So I just like to keep things simple and also not waste money on shirts we don't need. So we've still got that going on. I know there's a how many extra shirts joke. I know it's sitting in the back of your head. None. Everybody always gives you a hard time. All right, next slide. I just wanted to go through our goals really quick. So we're looking at, I'm hoping another goal of blowing it out of the water for us. We're around 65,000 this year. Sponsorship at 20, we're hoping to celebrate 80 survivors. Continue to be an ACS Can Club event, which is have 40 members. We hope to have around 38 teams and a good 300 people registered. And then below is what we're looking at to date. So we've got just over 6,000 in sponsorship confirmed, 17 teams, 47 participants, and we are moving along with $4,500 additional raised as well. So we're just over 10,000 committed so far. So we're moving right along. So give yourselves a huge round of applause. And thank you to everybody that's already registered. You guys can do that through the app if you have not already. You guys can do it through the computer. And if you have not, also please download the app. It will make your life a lot easier. Everything you can do on the website, you can do on the app. So it'll keep things super simple for you. And then next slide. So I wanted to talk about really briefly, because I actually have some better speakers on this subject for you, but just really what your donations do. Next slide for me. Because of you guys really, early detection is the name of the game. I don't think I need to, maybe sometimes we need to keep saying it, but early detection is truly the name of the game. And because of you guys, we can continue to spread that message, and we continue to push that narrative forward. We continue to fund groundbreaking cancer research, and continue to fund patient programs and services that you guys can use more locally. Free rides to chemo, lodging, all of that good stuff. But I think the one thing that a lot of people maybe forget, because it seems so simple, but information. Information is power, knowledge is power, and because of you guys, we can have information at everyone's fingertips on cancer.org 24/7, but we can also have information available 24/7 on the other end of the phone. There is literally someone that will pick that up night or day that can't exist without all of us in this room. And truly, can anyone guess maybe I've asked this before, but can anyone guess the number? So there's 24 hours in a day. What is the peak hour that the 1-800 number is used? 6 o'clock what? PM, AM? AM? PM. PM, okay. Anybody else?
Middle, right.
It's around there. It's like 2 to 4 a.m. So you weren't far off, but it's in the middle of the night. It's when we're alone with our thoughts. You know what I mean? And people really truly feel alone. And it's because of you guys that we can relieve that. There's nurses, individuals that they can talk to, and just even resources in the community. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's also a lifeline for, hey, my loved one's going through treatment and I think I need help. I think I need to speak to someone. Is there a support group? You know, even things like that seem, they're not small, but that might even seem like we don't even reach out to ask. It's because of you guys that stuff's available and that database is available through us. So just thank you guys so very much. And then if you click one more time after that one, this kind of I just wanted to update you guys kind of on where research is sitting here. Currently there is over $410 million invested in research grants. And then that equates to the equation keeps building of the 4.8 billion since we started investing in research. So I always every year keep updating that number, and I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. And obviously the stack of ones that gets funded is like this big, and the one that we can't stands up to here, so we just keep trucking along, keep funding the best science possible, and keep raising as much as we can to keep funding as many grants as possible. There were 3 more researchers that were awarded Nobel Prizes this year as well, so we are up to 47 Nobel laureates as well. So that feels really, really good, and it's an amazing, amazing point of pride. So just thank you guys on another level for that too. All right, and to talk a little bit more about research, you're gonna click one more time. I have Jennifer Speth here. She is going to share a little bit about her ACS-funded research with you guys, what she studies, and just truly what your hard work has been working towards. So I'll turn that over to Jennifer. Thank you, guys.
Can anybody hear me all right? I'm really glad to be able to come up and speak to you guys. This is my second time doing this. I'm hoping it's a more regular thing because I really think it's important to get the word out that, American Cancer Society funds great research, and it's meant a lot to me in my career and my passion for cancer research. So I'm a formerly funded American Cancer Society researcher. I work at the University of Michigan representing the pulmonary division. I guess I can start off by saying that cancer has really permeated my life since I was young. My grandfather passed away when I was 5 from lung cancer. My father was recently diagnosed with melanoma, but thankfully he's cancer-free as of now. My mother passed away 2 years ago from breast cancer, and I myself was diagnosed at 15 with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I went through 6 months of chemotherapy, and coming this June, I believe it will be 21 years cancer-free. It was really because of all these events that I developed a passion for cancer research. And I didn't really know how I was going to sort of weave that into my life at first, but I knew that I was going to do something, whether it had to do with medicine or whatever I could do. I wanted to sort of pave my career towards cancer, something related to cancer. And it really wasn't until I went to college and I took my first immunology course that I really discovered that cancer research was something that I could do that would contribute something to, the cancer therapy world. So I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever when my teacher was talking about viruses and bacteria and the immune system and how cancer relates to all these things. And I just thought it was really interesting. So I knew that that's how I wanted to form my career. So I knew that I needed to get some lab experience before I could do research, get used to the techniques and being in the lab environment. So I actually worked as a research technician in a lung-related research lab at Indiana University in Indianapolis for a couple years. And then I joined the graduate program, the PhD program at Indiana University. And that's where I spent 5 years doing my thesis, which focused on hematopoietic stem cell transplants. So we can't really do all of our research on humans, so I used a mouse model, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever, and I got to show that if you treat bone marrow cells with certain compounds and put them back into the body, those compounds can actually make the cells home back to the bone marrow a lot better. And that work was actually published in a really prestigious journal named Blood, and I was the first author on that paper, and it really got me sort of the boost that I needed to join a good lab as a postdoctoral fellow and start paving my way into the research realm. So if you're not familiar with the terms postdoc, so in medicine you go to medical school and then you do a residency. The postdoc is like the PhD's version of a residency. So you gain your PhD in your field and then you find a postdoctoral job somewhere else and you spend 3 to 5 years working as hard as you possibly can, trying to get as many papers published as you can on whatever you're interested in. But to do that, you need funding. So you can go to the next slide. So I just want to give you a little bit of background on what my lab focuses on, so then I can tell you a little bit more about my specific cancer research that I did that was funded by the American Cancer Society. So this is what we call the alveolar space. So your lungs are filled with these tiny little air sacs called alveoli, and they comprise of several different types of cells that allow us to take the oxygen from the air and get it into our blood. We also have immune cells in our lung that help us sort of dampen any inflammation that might arise from all the irritants that we inhale on a daily basis. So you're constantly inhaling dust particles, bacteria, viruses, other little tiny critters like house dust mites that you can't see but are there. And the reason we are not constantly sick is because we have these first line of defense cells called the alveolar macrophages. So these guys gobble up all these different things that we inhale, and they sort of orchestrate a response to the immune system saying, hey, this is bad, hey, this isn't bad, you need to calm down, the inflammatory response. So it keeps a balance on too much or too little inflammation in your lung. Because if you have too much inflammation, then you are not able to get the gas exchange that you need to oxygenate the blood, and then that's when you become sick. So our lab focuses on the alveolar macrophage in particular because we don't believe that it gets enough credit in the immune realm as a cell that orchestrates a very important process in our body. And you can go to the next slide. There we go. So we study the macrophage and how it communicates with the structural cells of your lung called the epithelial cells. And we discovered that not only do they communicate by sending out proteins and other things just out into the environment, they can also make these tiny little packages called extracellular vesicles. These are actually made up of cell membrane. They form these little vesicles and spit them out, and they can be taken up by neighboring cells in the immediate vicinity or even as far away as the bloodstream in other organs. And they can send these signals to the epithelial cell that says, okay, you need to ramp up an inflammatory response or you need to dampen this because we're doing too much damage to the lung. So we're focused on these vesicles that can actually suppress inflammation. And if you guys are familiar with the idea of inflammation in cancer, you might know that lots of chronic inflammation, like if you were to have COPD or asthma, chronic inflammation over a long period of time can result in cancer or tumor development. So the alveolar macrophage, I believe, is an important cell because it's one of those cells that's sort of dampening the inflammatory response, and it could potentially help with preventing tumor cells from forming, which arise from the epithelial cells themselves. So my particular focus, I wanted to see whether these packages were somehow damaged or different in mice that had tumors in their lungs versus those that did not. So my study really focused on taking these vesicles and looking at the contents and trying to see if we could actually mimic these vesicles using synthetic particles and whether these could actually inhibit tumor growth. So one of the things I did, you can go to the next slide. So all the work culminated in this journal article that we just published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation Insight, which is a really prestigious journal. I'm very proud of this paper. So we found that in lung cancer patients, I was able to get samples from actual lung cancer patient lungs, as well as using a mouse model. I found that these vesicles were damaged or missing. So what happens is when you don't have these vesicles to sort of dampen the inflammatory response, you get lots of chronic inflammation. And we actually packaged synthetic vesicles with these proteins that we found, and we gave it to tumors that were implanted in mice from an adenocarcinoma patient, and we were actually able to shrink the tumor with these particles. So this is really important. I believe that it's sort of paving the way for new types of cancer therapeutics where people might not think of in terms of like a type of therapy, but it's actually your cell is making these naturally, and then that is inhibited somehow, and that's facilitating tumor formation. So if we're able to rescue that in the form of these little synthetic vesicles, we could potentially have an impact on lung cancer treatments. And I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Cancer Society funding for this project, it never would have gotten off the ground. I will say my memo, thank you. So my mentor is not a lung cancer specialist. He studies pulmonary fibrosis and asthma and other things, I really had to convince him that this work was important enough to follow and to, continue on, with going on this sort of journey. He didn't have the money to fund this work, so it was up to me to find independent funding to pay for all these experiments, the mice, my salary, my time. And the American Cancer Society thought my project was interesting enough to fund, and I wouldn't be where I am today in my career if it wasn't for that funding. So it's very, very important to me and very, important to my career that this kind of funding is available for us sort of fledgling researchers. You can go to the next slide. And I say that because if you look at this statistic, all cancers are important. All cancers need to be funded. The problem is the government doesn't think the same way as we do as researchers. So if you look at the statistics, specifically lung cancer in general, so it's the leading cancer killer of all types of cancers in the United States currently, and yet it gets the least amount of funding compared to other types of cancers. That's not saying that other cancers are more or less important, but the government is not giving equal amounts to all cancers. So it's really up to these foundations like the American Cancer Society and other private, funding sources that we can get our work funded and we can actually get papers published and we can get word out at conferences, that this is important, we need to study this more. We need the extra funding to do that. So we can't get it from the government, we have to get it through other sources. And the American Cancer Society is a great resource for us. So it's very important that people understand that their money is actually going to things that are worthwhile. And I will say that of all the applications that were submitted for this funding that I received, only I think 3 got funded, and I was the 3rd one. So it's very, very small fraction of the applications that get sent in, and all these applications are worthy of funding. It's just that there's not enough money to go around. So I really think that it's important that we, are able to fund as much good work as possible, or else we're not going to have any advances in, treatment or other detection, things like that. So you can go to click the next one. Yeah, so that was the point that I wanted to make. Only 6% of federal research dollars goes to lung cancer research. So it's very small. Not a lot of people think lung cancer is worth funding because they believe it's a lifestyle disease. We need to get out of that thinking. Women are coming down with lung cancer that have never smoked in their lives. So it's not a lifestyle disease, and even if you did smoke, it's not your fault that you got lung cancer. Nobody deserves that. So I really do believe that we need to, spread the love as much as possible. Okay, and you can go to the last slide. So basically, I just want to say thank you again. This is a picture of my mother. She passed away 2 years ago from breast cancer. She was my biggest cheerleader. Ever since I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's, we were involved in Relay for Life. We tried to do every one in our city when I was growing up, and my mom continued to do Relay for Life in Pennsylvania when she moved out there with her new husband. She was working for Relay for Life, volunteering up until 3 or 4 months before she passed away. So this was a huge deal for her, and she was always my biggest fan when it came to, advocating for my work. She always told everybody, oh, my daughter's gonna find the cure for cancer. So I may not find the cure, but I'd like to at least think that I could contribute something to a potential cure. So yeah, I just wanna thank you all again, for doing what you do, because it really means a lot to people, and I'm hoping that you can see, at least through me, that, it means a lot to our careers and our lives and our goals. And thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Let's give everyone one more round of applause. Thank you guys so much for being here. 2 quick thoughts I had on research. One, I've always said, yeah, our jobs are hard, my job's hard, but I could never be the one that has to pick what gets funded and what doesn't. I've always, it's a board, it's a large group of people that review them and things, but I can't even imagine. And you had mentioned a point too, I think it was your supervisor doesn't specialize with lung. When a grant or something is on the floor of like, they're telling, this is what I want to start finding and what I want to start researching, it doesn't mean that that's what's going to be the end result or like the outcome. I think about tamoxifen for breast cancer. They never started trying to find that. They never started trying to study that drug or research it. It came from studying, forgive me, I don't remember. I think it was like from studying lung or something like that. Like they were studying something completely different and found that they could save breasts, you know what I mean? And help people being diagnosed with breast cancer. So it's just crazy true that, you know, how even just where you start doesn't mean that's where you finish. And
I forgot to mention too that this whole project of mine actually started looking with asthma as the disease model, not lung cancer. So
and it just kind of spiraled and
yeah, I was able to sort of divert off onto that path, and my boss was nice enough to let me do that.
well, and even listen to what, you know what I mean, just what was happening. And it just, I don't want to get on a soapbox or on a tangent, but just the science is always fascinating. And it's just crazy too, what you start out to find and don't find. So very, very cool. So speaking of research, I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda real quick to give us a chat quick about ACS CAN. So let's give her a round of applause.
I don't know how you get up and follow that for somebody having to do a speech. I mean, to me, like what you do, you're a hero in my eyes, because the reason that we're all in this room is so that our loved ones don't have to hear you have cancer again. And because of people like you and the funding that you do get from the organizations that you get, that's why we're here. That's why we do this every year. That's why we put on the little crazy, little silly events that we do. That's why we kept it traditional, and we have fun and we act stupid and we enjoy ourselves for 21 hours because we're trying to make a difference, but we can't do what you and your colleagues do, and we appreciate what you do immensely, though. I mean, like, I have goosebumps just listening to what you said, so thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure everyone here for what you're doing and the people that do the same thing as you for finding a cure for anything. From the bottom of my heart, that's huge. So mine is not going to be as amazing as hers, but it is a little bit about the funding of research to help them do what they do. So, hi everyone. Hope you guys had a fantabulous day today. I know I do. Every day is a fabulous day. So I want to thank you guys all for coming out. I know it's pretty cold out there, and I know we've had some snow the last couple days, but I want to say thank you again from the bottom of our hearts for coming out and joining us today. We couldn't do what we do without all of you and all of the other people who couldn't be here today at our event every year. So thank you, all of you, for coming out and being here with us. So if you don't know me already, my name is Rhonda Graham. If you don't know me and you're at the event, you will know me before the 21 hours is over, just saying. So I am so proud to be a part of the Westland-Wayne Relay for Life for the past 9 years now. Like most of you here, I got involved with Relay after a loved one heard those 3 horrible words, "You have cancer." It was my mom, who's here with us today. Then it was my uncle. Then it was my aunt. And within 6 months of these diagnoses, we lost 2 of the 3. And it hits home hard when your family is affected, and I'm sure that's why each and every one of us are here today. Our family was changed forever when those 3 people, and like I said, I'm only telling you my story. I know you all have a similar story, so I don't want to take away from your story, but our family changed forever that year. It was devastating. It was an extremely emotional time for all of us. We lost 2 amazing family members within 6 months of being diagnosed with cancer. I never truly knew how much those 3 words would really impact me until all of that had happened. While being there for my mom, through her surgery, her chemo, her radiation, I was able to meet so many amazing people, from other patients that were in the treatment rooms with my mom to the amazing doctors and nurses that cared for each and every one of them, and the family members that came to support them during their treatments. The compassion and kindness that they showed to every patient was beyond amazing. This is what made me realize I needed to do more. I also wanted to help make a difference in people's lives. Did you know that every year, approximately 12.7 million people will hear those 3 words? I have made it a priority of mine to bring awareness to anyone that I can of the importance of research, so one day none of our loved ones will ever have to hear those 3 words again. None of them will have to go through all of those treatments that are so hard on each and every one of their bodies. Each and every one of them, and each and every one of us, will be able to live our best lives, is what my goal is, what my passion is. So a little bit about ACS CAN and all of the volunteers. ACS CAN volunteers and staff are having a major impact on helping to end suffering and death from cancer. If we are to succeed in our mission to end the suffering and deaths from cancer, it won't just happen in a doctor's office or in a research lab. This movement must start at the State House and the Congress, and it will be led by volunteers, people just like you and I, regular people whose lives have been impacted by cancer, rallying together to demand change from their elected officials. Sorry about the pause there, I couldn't get my pages unstuck. We are the organization empowering volunteers to do just that, influence change and impact the future of cancer, from gaining dramatic increases in funding for cancer research to ensuring all Americans have access to cancer care. Our work is saving lives and leading to new and innovative breakthroughs in how we fight this disease. Did you know that last month was the largest single-year drop ever recorded in deaths from cancer? This was in the news. The decline in cancer death rates is phenomenal. Our momentum in battling this disease is extraordinary. I'm sure you're wondering, what could halt this momentum, right? Well, the White House has just proposed a massive cut in cancer research funding. Please, each and every one of you, take the time and send a message to your member of Congress, insisting that they reject the proposed cuts and continue to support more funding for cancer research. We can make a difference. Scientists are on the cusp of tremendous breakthroughs in the fight against cancer, and we cannot abandon the next generation of cancer patients by just standing by and letting the proposed cuts become a reality. We must fight for this. That next cure, that new test to detect cancer at an earlier stage, survivable stage. These are what's at stake if the cuts truly happen. I would love it if during my lifetime, with funding and the research that continues to be done, that people, our friends and family members, will never have to hear those 3 words again. Now that you've heard my story and what the ACS CAN is all about, I want you to think about who or what brought you here today. I ask you to make that decision right now, I ask you to make the decision right now to join me as an ACS CAN member, Join me and thousands of other advocates by either becoming a member today for the first time for $20 or renewing your annual membership for just $10. There's forms on the tables if anyone is interested. We do make a difference together. We all must stand together. We all must reach out to our Congress people. We all must fight for the government not to change the funding that Jen is doing and that her colleagues are doing and that people across this world are fighting to help our loved ones not ever have to hear those three words. And ACS CAN is a funding that helps volunteers just like you and I who go stand on those Congress people's front porches. They knock on their doors every single day while they're at work to make a difference so that these people can continue to do the amazing things that they do every day. So I ask you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of your own hearts and pocketbooks to join me today in ACS CAN. Fill out one of those forms and we'll come around and pick them up if you're interested. But thank you for your time. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. And come on, ACS CAN, join me in this fight. We need 40 members. So back to the infamous Megan.
You're stuck with me. Thanks, Rhonda. And I think you went to Lobby Day last year, didn't you, or was it the year before? It's around every April. A giant group. Last year, it was oral chemotherapy fairness that they were focusing on. But just taking a day at the Capitol, you know what I mean? And just really focusing on making sure the message is heard. But your memberships and continuing the support of ACS can truly keep that going year round and truly have an impact. I know I've been with ACS for just over 5 years now. It's crazy that I've been with you guys that long, but there's been obviously cuts proposed year after year to various aspects of cancer research, and it truly has an impact. So I can't thank you guys enough. They're the red forms in the center of your tables. Please fill those out. You guys can leave those with us before you go tonight. Like she said, memberships start at $10. We truly appreciate anything that you can do.
I've got my first two. Who's next?
Perfect. I know we've got some renewals and all that good stuff happening. So next slide. So kind of transitioning a little bit here. So about the event, we've got June 6th and 7th, Westland Farmers Market, same time, same place essentially for you guys that are coming back with us. So 11 a.m. sharp to 7 a.m. What'd I do?
Westland.
Westland. W-A-S-T.
Westland Farmers Market.
Oh, it isn't the address. Oh, I'm like, the website is fine. It says E. What are you reading? My bad. Did you know I'm a human too? And PowerPoint doesn't have spell check. Gotta love it. My bad. But we'll be at the Westland Farmers Market on June 6th and 7th for you guys. Registration opens at 10:30. Teams be reminded that obviously you can come show your beautiful face at check-in, but you don't need to check in that morning. You guys will have t-shirt night. Survivors and caregivers will want to register. But if you haven't kind of seen what our theme is, are you ready to click? Go. Our theme is, so I know this isn't the wording, okay? I just wanted to find a cool picture. We're doing decades. So what is the, I know you had a fun phrase for it. Decades of hope. Okay, did I get it right then?
Change, styles change, hope doesn't.
Beautiful. Cars change, styles change, hope doesn't. So all the teams, everybody's going to get to pick different decades. And we try and keep it casual. So if two teams feel passionate about the same decade, have at it. But we try and keep things real casual for you guys. But we are very, very excited about this. Yeah, we may not all execute the theme casually, but we're excited to see this. I'm excited to see who even does the future and kind of see what that looks like. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with, but let your brains go. Everybody's going to get to pick decades. Next one. I've never been shy about this. We're an amazing group of people too. The committee here, we're all in these heathered coral, these neon shirts. But help is always needed. So speak to one of us on the committee. If you guys can raise your hands, everybody's kind of in orange. Can my committee raise their hands for me? Thanks. I know you guys were about to. You're like, we're not doing it alone. But speak to one of us before you guys leave. Obviously, at your team captain workshops and all of that good stuff will be available to chat as well. Or just reach out. Roles are not like, hey, these are the things that we need filled. That's why I don't just have like, this is a list of things we need help with. Because in my groups, you don't just volunteer for things that make you miserable. You actually volunteer for things that you enjoy doing and want to contribute that would actually bring you some joy as well. So I'm excited to talk with you. The committee is also great about talking that through about what will be something fun for you to help with. So please let us know what your interests are. Yeah, thank you in advance.
Even if you know somebody that does
And-
dance or a group that would want to be at our event and do a
That's a good point.
presentation, anything, you know, like.
Well, and maybe it's not even you that even wants to help. Maybe you have a friend that's looking for a volunteer opportunity. It's a good point. It's not just you. Is it a group, a band, anything, I guess, to enhance the experience of the event that you guys all are a part of? Anything that you guys would like to see there? Is there something we can add? Or is there a piece that you or someone you know would like to help volunteer with? So thank you. All right. Next slide for me. You're doing so good over there, Miriam. All right. Join us to help fight cancer in your community. So this is something that I know I've mentioned a lot before. I'm not even going to spoil her story, but we're going to talk a little bit about Road to Recovery because we have a little bit. I want you guys to understand a little bit more locally about what we can do to tackle this. So before I hand it over to Carol, I want you guys to understand that in Wayne County, we have a giant need for people's rides to be fulfilled. It's just the reality of where we're at is we can't fulfill all the rides. Wayne County is a different anomaly, I'm sure you can guess, because of Detroit. So there is just a larger concentration and it's a large county. And so it's just a very prevalent need in Wayne County. So I wanted to take a moment specifically because of what Carol's about to share with you to bring it a little full circle. But yeah, I'll let her try to take it from here to hear about Road and we'll go from there. Carol, everyone, our fearless leader, our true fearless leader, Miss Carol.
Hello, hello. So last year at Relay, I was just going to finish my last chemo treatment at Relay. So now I'm proud to stand this week as my 8-month checkup. I am cancer-free. So I'm doing awesome. So one thing I said that I mentioned when I gave my survivors speech at the Relay last year was just a lot what I was learning going through treatment. As I would go, the thing that was bothering me the most was I would see people in treatment that had no one there with them, or they were waiting for rides, and I couldn't even imagine. I'm like, I had the support of my husband and my family, the people that don't have somebody to take them to these important treatments. And it was really gnawing at my heart. So I talked about, I would love to become involved with Road to Recovery, If God willing, all things work out. I think this is my next path. I think this is where I'm meant to be. And so in that, I discovered more. So Road to Recovery, you can make it work to fit your schedule. Even if you work full-time, you don't have to be retired, you can sign up and maybe you can give a ride once a month. There are appointments on Saturdays for patients, and you can even decide to take, I can drop off. I might not be able to pick them up, but there is a training, it's pretty simple, that you go through with the American Cancer Society with a staff partner, and they'll coach you through. And yep, it's all done online at your convenience, so in between the nooks and crannies, you can do that and do your training. And learn about their program called Service Match that helps assign rides to show you available rides and what you're able to fit in your schedule. It's a really great program. And then when I saw how many rides, like Megan was mentioning, in Wayne County that go, we're not able to service, right? People don't get rides. So I decided I'm doing it. So I'm super excited. My very first ride is tomorrow. I get to pick up, so I'm super excited. My first patient I'm taking to treatment. So, and I'm just encouraging if just everybody could do it, and even if you could do it once a month, twice a month. I work a full-time job too, but I can, I know how my schedule can go, and I'm like, I can fit this in on a Friday, so I'm able to help. So if we all just did one ride even if you, every 1 month, 2 months, just the difference we can make in Wayne County. So I urge you to consider it. You just need to be 18 years of old, 18 age, yep. Your driver's license, you have the proof of insurance, a reliable vehicle, and basic stuff. You'd be able to log on and use a laptop, desktop, so you could, pull up the program yourself. But it's something I would love to encourage others. If you have questions, I'm super excited. By the time we get to relay, I probably have lots of fun stories to tell you but I'm very excited that, I feel like this is my path now to help others, and I'm so excited to help my first patient go to their chemo treatment tomorrow. So if you're interested, yes.
Where are you picking somebody up at?
So in general, so I'm picking them up from their home and then taking them to whatever hospital, so. Yep, citywide.
Tell them kind of where you're driving, like
Where from, to and from? Yeah, so my patient I'm picking up from is in Inkster tomorrow, and I'm taking him from Inkster to St. Mary's, so in Livonia. So, and everyone has a different path, like there's, just depending.
And you selected that kind of like.
And I selected
what
it.
worked in your schedule,
Yep.
what worked with your area
Yep.
to do. 'Cause
So
you
you-
can see all, like, once you're in the training and in the program, you're able to just see what's available, essentially.
Yep.
Like, these are all the rides, and you kind of pick one, and,
Yes.
or pick whatever you can, and,
Some are longer depending the type of treatment they're having, so some may be just going for a quick, there may be a shorter appointment because, blood work or a port flush or a radiation treatment is a lot quicker. So sometimes you might see, okay, it's a drop off and pick up 15 to 30 minutes later, and usually it's that kind of short appointment. So you can gauge based on your schedule, so. So it's simple to use. You can decide how many miles you want to be able to ride round trip. If you have a limitation on that, you can do that as well. So, but that's just what my first example will be.
You just put AmericanCancerSociety.com.
Yeah, so if you go cancer.org and / under driver, it has all the information. There's some flyers on your table, and, yep, blue one on your table if you want more information.
And there's more in the back, too, if you
Yep.
guys need them.
And there's some with just a phone number if you'd prefer that versus online. But, just want to encourage everyone to think about it, and maybe somebody in your family or neighborhood as well that might be interested, and, please share the word. So, thank you so much.
Thanks, Carol. I just really wanted her to touch on it too, when she had told me she was becoming a driver, and, because I even asked her, how do you fit that in your schedule? Just wanting to understand it more, and I think it's important to realize too that, you can do, you can fit it in there. Like, my mom does it just when she goes to Florida, because she's working more when she's here in the summer with real estate, but she does it in Florida when she's down there for a couple months in the winter. So it's just here and there as you can do it. And if we don't talk about it and if we don't acknowledge it, we can't make any moves on it. So I just appreciate you guys in advance. All the information you need is on here. Like Carol had mentioned, the website's right at the bottom. Everything's online for you to get you going. But please let us know though too. It was great. Carol just told me she was doing it. I was like, talk about that next week. You know what I mean? Can we just tell everyone what you're doing, but help us share your story too, and help us get other people wanting to do that kind of stuff too. So it's just kind of that domino effect. Also, one other really quick thought on rides. Specifically in areas like Detroit and Wayne County, where there's a larger group that sometimes go unfulfilled. We've also, just as an update, been working with Uber and Lyft for passes, to get passes and rides like that to kind of help tackle it that way. And also not just in Michigan, but nationwide with local transit, when that's available. They can hook up that way and kind of bus passes and different things like that. I know it's not as personal as one-on-one, but the bottom line is it's life-saving treatment that someone's got to get to. And whether it's partnering with different companies like that or individuals, we got to get them there. So just thank you in advance for anyone that even gives a ride in a year. Just thank you guys so very much. So, all righty. So now to kind of transition a little bit too, so just kind of more, these are gonna kind of feel like more housekeeping things, I guess. Join us. If you guys are not already signed up for Relay, please join us. I know that we have talked about, this isn't exactly just a Westland-Wayne melting pot. We've got teams from Allen Park, we've got teams from Livonia, we've got teams from all around in these areas, and it's such a fun group to bring together that day. I know you guys just really enjoy being together, and it's truly a beautiful celebration to bring you guys all together, but please get signed up. Get your team signed up. If you guys have your team signed up, make sure you click that one step further and get your participants signed up as well. So you can go to the next one. Yep, and you guys have the sheets on your tables and stuff. Yep. Yep. Go ahead. All right, so to sign up, it all looks the same, thank you. To sign up, you go on the website. I have all these printed off for you as well too, on just the step-by-step version for you guys. So as far as not the website, the where to click and all the steps like that. So I have that printed over there, so team captains, I know you guys sometimes need that stuff. Perfect. All right, next one for me. And then fundraisers, just some ideas that I had on here. Some fun things that we've been seeing doing. I know I've been seeing a lot of gourmet snacks, maybe with you guys, doing fundraisers and different fun baskets and things like that. But bake sales, they seem so silly or small, maybe not silly, but delicious and small, but they make a large impact. So think about those at work, sharing your fundraising online. If you want to click the next one for me. Everyone asks me what is working. I think all of you guys have also heard me say I hate social media for a lot of different reasons. But it's working, and I know we're all here to fight cancer, and for whatever reason, I've been waiting kind of for Facebook to go away. They popped up with these Facebook fundraisers, and anyone that seriously linked their Relay dashboard, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you sign up, you get that page that's personalized for you. When they linked that to Facebook, they raised 25% more. Like, I'm not kidding. And it's just, everybody's there. And it's just where everyone's at, and it's, once again, just meeting everyone where they're at, and it's just getting that word out 25% more than just living on that website. So please share it. Once you register as a participant, you guys, it's like it pops up right in front of your face. Like we don't really let you ignore it, but it's a big blue box right on your dashboard. You can link it. If you need any help, let me know. If for some reason you started one on Facebook and you didn't before you signed up for your Relay page, let me know. I've had to do some of that technical troubleshooting as well, getting it all back to your page. So. But this is what's working. Everybody asks me every year, whether it's a bake sale, whether it's this, whether it's that, all that stuff is delicious, all of it works. But the stats are there, 25% more, like all it was crunching the numbers. So it's working, please do it. And all you gotta do is just click the button and it does the work for you. You don't even have to keep monitoring it. So thank you in advance for doing that. It may seem simple and small, but it's 25% more that we're moving that marble. So thank you guys so much. The next one, I do have these printed out for you guys as well, so that you guys have these. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Miriam, will you exit off that just for 1 second? Because hold on, just press escape for 1 second. So you guys, these are your meeting dates on here. I do apologize for leaving this March and April pizza on this part here, but these are your meeting dates, and I do have these printed for you guys over on this table as well. So our next date is March 12th for you guys. So make sure that's on your calendar. Our meetings are at Carroll's Church, so St. Mary's Cause of Your Joy, or Cause of Our Joy, excuse me. Participants start at 6:30. Okay, so our committee meets right after that, and anyone is welcome to join our committee meetings and all of that stuff as well. But that's what we've got for you guys too. So please see us if you have your ACS CAN forms to turn in. If you have, I see some of you guys even have survivor forms that you guys have filled out so that we can get that stuff taken care of. Team captains and anyone here representing your team, please make sure you stop at this table. Get your meeting dates, get your paperwork, get your sponsorship stuff, get all those papers you guys need, get your Luminaria bags, all that good stuff for you guys. And then also like some of the t-shirts and that stuff, I have all those printouts for you guys to be able to promote with your teams as well. So March, April, and then May, we've got a meeting a month. We hope to see you guys at those meetings. If you guys need anything in the meantime, my contact information is literally on everything. You guys know where to find us. But that's what we've got going on for you guys. And truly just thank you guys for being here. Yeah.
Megan, I'd like to
just introduce our new sponsor, Rocky Coney Island.
Oh, thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to the family. Yes, I always have said since day one, we can all attest, we've been introduced or met new groups, and sometimes we don't always feel welcome. This group from like day one always made me feel like a family, and I've always said you guys are an amazing relay family. So welcome to the family, and thank you for your support. We're very excited to have you guys. So thank you very much, you guys. Thank you for stopping me and introducing that as well. Like I said, don't forget to visit the table. It's a table of stuff, but you guys are all gonna need all that stuff, okay? But have a great night, you guys. Please drive safe. Please holler at me if you need anything. I'm gonna hang out for a little bit, so let me know if you guys have questions. But thank you guys so much. Have a great night.